Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm Bob DeMarco. Coming up, I finally sharpened my Helco Werk hatchet. I'm very excited about that. I'm going to be giving away this really cool CMB made clip point knife called the Lurker. I love that. Thank you so much, OG Blade Reviews, for the donation. And then finally, what have I missed? What knives are happening right now that I should be talking about, that I should be excited about, that I'm not? I want to know what it is. I tend to go down my little dark alleyways in my own collecting, little weird spaces where a lot of people aren't, and then I reemerge and I'm like, oh, they're talking about this this knife by Ketuo. What's this all about? So tell me what I've been missing while I've been in my self-induced, little solitude. Not solitude. I won't call it solitude, but I haven't been listening or watching many knife videos. Groundfog, nice to have you here, sir. Great to have you with us. And what I mean by that is I check in. I'm reading headlines, so to speak. I'm watching the first minute or two of some of my favorites, but I'm just not like, oh man, I got to find out about this knife, about too many things right now, except fixed blades way more these days. Marco, nice to have you here, sir. Evening, Bob and Knife Junkies, he says. Top of the evening to you, sir. James Hart, nice to have you, sir. Good evening, all. We hope all are sharp and ready to go. Indeed, indeed. And I want to say to all of our friends in Florida and in North Carolina and Virginia and every place affected by these storms, these hurricanes, our thoughts go out to you. I know North Carolina was particularly devastated and in a part where they do not experience that. And there are a lot of knife companies there, as a matter of fact. So hearts go out to you. Have a nice day. Good to have you here. Have a nice day. He says, good evening, Junkalos. I just saw you running in some sort of a 5K carrying a flag, looking all studly. Just got my pre-birthday shave and haircut. That's right. Once a year, huh? Fresh face and ready to talk about knives. Well, good to have you, and awesome videos with all the antique Bowies happening. OG Blade Reviews, nice to have you here, Dave. Welcome back, Bob. Thank you, sir. Hope all is well, and evening to knife junkies everywhere, he says. And a big thanks to you, Dave, making this possible. If you want to win this very cool CMB made Lurker, love the name Lurker. Aren't we all at heart lurkers? So this Lurker could be yours. Just put hashtag knife in the old comments down there. That is a very cool modern D2 clip point blade with really nice micarta, a little bit patinaed, I think, and I like it like that. Very nice, very comfortable. That rockets out. You got some jimping on top. Yeah, that blade just rockets out with that flipper, a bent pocket clip, and a backspacer. Really nice knife from CMB. I remember when the Predator came out, the CMB Predator. It's the one that looks, I don't know, the most regular. It's got a drop point and a sort of axis lock. Jared Neve and a whole bunch of other people were crazy about that. And then all those Tiguas blades came out, like the Chris and several other pretty exotic, cool things. So very cool company, making interesting knives, very interesting designs. And if this one here is any indication, amazing build quality. I've also handled Predators. Those are built like little tanks. So hashtag knife down there in the comments. We're going to do an unboxing tonight, something you don't see here on Thursday Night Knives, but I got a Mora. I want to open this thing up on camera because I know a lot of you have carried this knife in particular, the Eldris. I'm excited to open it up. Craig Vincent, nice to have you here, Craig. Happy Thursday, everyone, he says. Happy Thursday to you, Craig. We have Five Door. He says, greetings and welcome back, Bob. Jim and Junkies, why, thank you, sir. It's great to be back. B Shady 22, evening, Bob D. Well, evening to you, B Shady. Good to be with you. Benedict Odie, Mr. Odie says, it's finally Thursday. Howdy all. Well, howdy all. I want you all to be thinking about this. What should I know about knife wise out there that's like exceptionally cool that I should be checking out. Joseph S. Good evening, junkies, Bob and Jim. Well, Joseph, a pleasure to have you here with us. Power Play for real. Power Play, nice to have you. Hey, Bob, Jim, and all the Knife Junkie folks. Sword, sword, knife, knife. Well, I couldn't agree more with that message. Sword, sword, knife, knife. Split and slices. We have Byron. Byron, pleasure. Always. Howdy, Bob, Jim, junkies. Thursday night knives. Now, this is a man who will attest to the fact that well, winning a knife can be great. I just sent him the O knife that we gave away 2 weeks ago, and that's a cool knife too. So a lot of these knives were given away because I have so many of them to give away, thanks to chiefly, Dave. OG Blade Reviews. Thank you so much for your generosity, sir. And if you want to see these knives up close, you can check out my most recent it's not my most recent video, but it's the most recent video I did where I did an unboxing and showed off a whole bunch of knives, and that was from Dave. Knives are life. Nice to have you here, Knives. Howdy, sir. Hope all is well. Well, thank you, sir. All is well. Indeed, all is well. Yeah, it's nice and cold here, cool here. It feels like fall. I love it. Wearing flannel, and yeah, I love this time of year. It's my favorite time of year. So yeah, let me know what I've missed. As a matter of fact, this knife right here under the knife cam, this is definitely an autumnal knife. I know that sounds silly, but really this is I've been putting this on the belt outside. I've been building fires and doing some cooking outside. Last thing I cooked was a pork loin outside, and it would have been delicious if I didn't overcook it. I did the sort of Dutch oven method with two cast iron pans like this, and I put coals on top, and it was great, but I didn't have a thermometer, so I left it on for too long. But this knife is so great. I love this. I've been doing a little bit of light batoning with it, but I also batoned with its big brother, the Shining Mountain Bowie, this weekend. And this thing is very nice for that purpose. I figured if Kep McNeshart is going to use my knife, I should at least use it. So I took this out back and just used it to pop open some little fire logs. Sorry, Jim, you had a comment up there, and I want to address it. Matthew, nice to have you here, Matthew. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me. Well, thanks for coming. Don't thank us for having. It's too easy. Thank you for being with us, sir, and thank you for joining the conversation. OG Blade Review says, like to talk about Terravantium. Let's talk about it. What do you want to talk about? So Terravantium is the nickel dendritic cobalt alloy. Is that what that is? That they use in Terrain 365. Is that right? It's a non-ferrous metal. Ryan Walker, good to have you here, Ryan. Hello, everyone. I got the Bravo 3 CPM. Oh, nice. 3V. It's slicey, not a hardwood chopper unless you think up an edge. Interesting. The Bravo 3, so that's got this kind of edge right here, right? It's got the old convex grind. I had a Bravo 1, I guess, and I got rid of it, regretfully, of course. I wish I could hold on to every single one of them. Split and Slices says, the only knife I'll mention, but you may have had it on Knife News, is the BRK. Oh, the Mountain Man. That will be coming up. 5-inch and 8-inch from Mr. Stewart. That's Mike Stewart in Escanaba, Michigan, modeled after the classic Green River knives. Yes, cool. I've been looking at those because with the use of these two honeys, I've been looking at Bark River. Oh, maybe there's another Bowie out because they periodically come out with a Bowie. That Mountain Man definitely takes the place of something like this, but gotta say, it does not. Those Green River knives don't exactly do it for me, and I bet they're awesome, and I'm sure there's a million and one uses, but my aesthetic appreciation is not one of them, and that's part of it. It's got to do that, and the fact that there's not a guard on it, and you don't need a guard because obviously it's not a thrusting knife. It reminds me of a butcher knife. It's like a trade knife, and I should get used to it. And once I do, I'll wish I jumped on this release, but I just can't right now. I just am not feeling it. But I love Bark River Knives, and Mike Stewart just seems like a real gem. Five Door says new one to watch out for. Oh, Protect Chavez. All right, that will be cool. What is going on over here? I keep seeing myself do this. I guess I itch over there. I really like the Chavez knives. I especially am fond of his sort of spontos and then his compound ground tontos. James Moore, nice to have you here, sir. Bob, one thing you've missed is Friday night Blade Affair and CCKS in Northern California. You can remedy that in 2 weeks. California Custom Knife Show. What's Friday Knife Blade Affair? Friday Knife Blade Affair. Yes, Terrain 365 is now offering it in their entire line. Wow, including the 2-inch out the front. Whoa, that is cool. Does that 2-inch out the front look like the Prometheus? Dadgummit. It's escaping me now. Adrian Fighter 35. Good to have you here, Adrian. Good evening, Bob and fellow knife junkies. Good evening to you, sir. Us glad to see you're feeling better. Oh, glad to see you're feeling better. Thank you, sir. I am feeling better. Indeed. James Hart says, well, Green River knives are meant to butcher game and cut meat, dumbass. That's the subtext, of course. I have 3, he says. I'm sure they're awesome. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sure just looking at them, especially the 5-inch, but I would imagine the 8-inch also seem extremely useful for the hunter out there. At least from videos I've seen of hunters dressing out game. Seems like they'd be excellent for that. But it's not my use. And sometimes I got to say, I got to say, and this happens actually quite frequently with Bark River knives. They come out with big drops, and oftentimes I'm like, oh, I just wish they put their attention into something I'm really into, like an Arkansas toothpick or one of their Bowies. They have so many cool Bowies, this one included. That I'd love to see more of those. Highlander, nice to have you here, Highlander. Hello, first time here. Been collecting about 40 years. Manaja. Well, first of all, welcome. It's great to have you here. 40 years. That's incredible. I have a couple of questions, Highlander, and you can sprinkle them in, but add a little bit of the question in with the answer because I'm a bit of a flake. And when I see your answer downwind, I want to remember what we were talking about. But 40 years of collecting. Question: have you sold a lot? And have regrets for that stuff you sold back in the day that you're like, man, I should have held on to that Terzuola. Wink, wink. No to mean, Dave, or something like that. I know I'm just playing, but I'd be interested to know that. And also, what is the main part of your collection? Are you a fixed blade collector, a folder, or are you like me and you collect everything and you go through little mini phases? I'd be very interested to find out what 40 years of collecting looks like, because actually I'm pretty much running up on that at 53. Kind of. Though the knives I had at 13, I know I've given almost all of them, if not all of them, to my cousin at one point. John White, nice to have you here, John. 36, watching only 13 thumbs up. Yeah, we have a lot of seething hatred, or at least simmering resentment in the audience tonight. They're just like, I could, but why? And I get it. It's all right, guys. It's all right. But thank you. I do appreciate your mentioning that. Please hit the like button. I can do more of that. I could say more of that. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, download the show to your favorite podcast app. Craig Vincent says, Bob, you should know that I pulled off the greatest coup yet in my 2 years of collecting. Oh, I can't wait. You've been doing a lot of this recently. Last week, I was like Michael Corleone. I simultaneously got a Trailmaster, a 1917 Bowie, and a rifleman's knife. That is cool. That's nice. That rifleman's knife, it's got a little sharp edge on top too, right? That's what makes that a tempting knife to me. Very nice pickup. I remember that you got a Black Rhino a few weeks back, and I happened to look those up on Arizona Custom Blades, Custom Knives. I love that website. And I saw a Black Rhino on there, $500. You want a Black Rhino? $500. $500. Well, at least if you want it from Arizona Custom Knives. Mark Stallman, pleasure to have you here, Mark. Evening Junkies, best to any affected. Oh, best to any affected by the hurricanes. Here. I double that. Uh, James Hart says, yes, the 5-inch was my first one, and it's not for wood prep, but for all other cutting needs, all over cutting needs. It works great. I even use it to thick cut leather. Oh, yeah. 5-inch Hunter is so sharp. So, James, you have the BRK versions, or do you have the a different Green River knife? I know that Cold Steel makes a version of it, which is kind of cool. It's the super ultra cheap line, with the 5116, I think, Krups and the inject molded handle, but it's got that same blade shape. Or actually, I think it's got a red handle. It's a slightly different. Highlander says, I have not sold a single knife. Oh my God. I sort of envy that. Gave a few away, like Hen and Rooster and older folks who love them to older folks who love them. That's cool. You have not sold a single one. I have to. I'm going to take advantage of this. Is going to sound like a plug, and let it be a plug, because I love Northern Knives. And Mike, I appreciate you, sir. But Northern Knives, they have an exchange program. They have all these great knives for sale, but also trade, used knives for trade. And go take a look at that. It's pretty damn sweet, I got to say. I'm thinking of getting rid of a bunch of folders that I just don't carry, that I like having. They're kind of great to have in the stable, but I'm not using them. And I would like to trade them in for something nice, like a single expensive something awesome like this, but not as expensive as this, like a custom Emerson or something like that. Wouldn't it be cool to trade in 20 really sweet kind of everyday carry knives or more, and then get like a nice like custom that you've always wanted? Yes, is what I say. Yes. So I'm going to try and figure that out. James Hart says, yes, the Cold Steel Frontier Bowie and the Rifleman's knife are both great blades. Yeah, I like the Frontier Bowie, but the Rifleman's. The Rifleman's, yeah. I do. I remember taking exception to the shape, but then when I saw like the 3 inches of sharp on the top, I was like, okay, I like that. James Hart says, I have the actual Russell Green River knives. Okay, made from 1095 HC and wooden handle scales. That sounds awesome. Sometimes, though I have major respect, sometimes I find that Bark River knives handles are a little too fancy for my liking. That's why I tend to get handles like these or the micarta when I get Bark River knives, which I haven't gotten too many of them. But here, I love the stack leather. I'm a sucker for stack leather. And this one is, they're both antiqued. The top one is just much darker antique. And I just put some knife wax on this because I had to oil it. It had some schmutz on the blade, and I'm from doing some light batoning. Isaiah Ramirez, nice to see you here, Isaiah. I am waiting for a maker to drop his leftovers from Blade Show West tomorrow. I would say the name, but I can't risk it. Oh, yes. Oh, that's awesome, man. All right. So, Isaiah, next week, when you've made the score, you have to let us know who it was. That's interesting. I was talking about Arizona Custom Knives before. I know that they do kind of a cleanup game at the end of Blade Show, and you can find a lot of cool stuff from Blade Show afterward on Arizona Custom Knives. Highlander says, I have hundreds of knives all in a separate room. All right, Highlander. So I guess all in all, with everything, I have hundreds. I would say I have over 200, probably 300 with everything considered. And let's even consider my tools of mayhem, like the war clubs and the stuff that's nice at knife adjacent. Do you have them spread throughout the house? I know you have them all in a separate room. Do you also have them strategically stashed around? A, and B, do you lock up that room? Is it a collection that you're like, I got to keep this under lock and key? Byron says, Bob, a great midweek supplemental topic. My favorite 10 favorite sales regrets. That's awesome. I'm going to write that down. Oh, sorry, guys. That's bad TV. All right. 10. That's a really good idea. 10. Let's see. I'm going to write this down. Favorite sales regrets. Favorite purchase regrets. Yeah, because we have them all, and or what's almost worse than a regret is when you're like really pumped about something and it shows up and you're just kind of lukewarm about it. You're just kind of like, yeah, isn't there something in the Bible about that? Better to be hot or cold, but not lukewarm. Is just like, oh yeah, it's okay. Kind of wish I still had that $250, but I'm also glad I have this knife. Will B, nice to see you here, Will. Bob, Jim, junkies. Hey, he says. Well, hey to you, sir. I think it might be time because I don't want to get too far ahead without doing this, but let's jump into it. Let's now do a pocket check.
What's in his pocket? Let's find out. Here's the Knife Junkie with his pocket check of knives.
I've been in an off-grid kind of mood lately, and I've been carrying the new off-grid Mamba, which I'll be showing off shortly. That's what we're going to be giving away next week for the Gentleman Junkie knife giveaway. But I've been in that frame of mind. Also talked to Carrie the other night. That's going to be a podcast coming up very soon. And man, I couldn't resist this today. The Cayman XL. Let me put this under the knife cam, and let me stash these big beauties. Or this one, by the way, you got to look at this beautiful leather sheath. They do incredible leather sheaths. I wish more people were doing that. I like Kydex. It definitely has its place. And I would actually say its place is probably greater than leather these days, but I wish there was still more leather. All right. So this sucker is a big version of the Cayman EDC, which is a 3.25 inch extreme clip Bowie. This is a 4-inch version of that D2 blade. Oh, no. This is 154. I'm sorry. Slow down, Bob. 14C 28N blade steel. You've got G10, just a beautiful blade, a swashbuckler, something deadly, something to open up a wide gaping hole in whatever you're thrusting it into. Always the extended jimping with off-grid. Carrie has ever-reaching jimping, which I love. You can reach all the way up, and he's got big monkey hands. He can reach all the way up with his thumbs, and he's always striving for bigger handles and longer jimping. And the bigger handles, I don't need them bigger because my hands aren't that big. This is perfect. This feels incredible. And with those flat G10 scales, if you're actually doing hard work with this thing and not just fantasizing about a knife fight, this will not turn in your hands when doing really awesome stuff. All right. I'm seeing from Jim's notes here, apparently it's not purchase regrets, it's sales regrets. Gotcha. Knives you regret selling. Yeah, that would be an awesome one, but I can't show any of them. That's the problem. I would have to call up internet pictures of them. So this one I had on me and it was great. I haven't carried this one in a long time. I know Byron is a big fan of this one. In my left pocket, dangling next to my cell phone, was the Compact, the Victorinox Compact. It's a 2-layer Victorinox with a bunch of tools. That's why they call it the Compact. It's a normal size, that 91 millimeter size, but it packs a lot in this small space. And honestly, my favorite reason for carrying this, and the reason I probably carry this Victorinox the most frequently, is this. The little screwdriver for the sunglass or for the glasses. And actually, I use this on my regular glasses on the right temple. My right temple is always getting loose, so I always have to screw it down. So this one gets a lot of carry, and today was no exception. Didn't use it for anything else, but I meant to test if any of the tools on this can strike a ferro rod, because I'm just curious now. Now that I've started several fires with a ferro rod, I want to see what can actually strike it. You really do need something pretty sharp, I have found. But I love this Victorinox Compact. This is definitely one that, I don't know. It's great because it's thin enough to carry, but it still has a bunch of tools. And I got to say, I love these danglers. Just get these on Amazon. These danglers are awesome because without them, this falls to the bottom of your pocket, starts riding sideways like this, and it's annoying. But with the dangler, it just sort of hangs inside your pocket. You can get a 2-pack of those for like $7 on Amazon. All right, next up, I had my Agent 001, my usual carry, my horizontal scout carry with the purple handle. Just a great knife, and I know they're coming out with a new drop of these mid-month. I think they're coming out with a whole bunch of the agents. They've done a bunch of drops recently, and very excited about that. But of course, I'm the most excited to see this come out again. It's, it's the apple of my eye. What can I say? So carried that today. And now that things are getting cold and my office is always freezing anyway, I can kind of more openly carry a fixed blade knife without worrying about it. Whereas in the summer, yeah, you have to have everything untucked, so it's got to be kind of casual. All right, last up for emotional support on me, I had this. I know a couple of you out there have this as well. It's the Max Knives Fred Perrin Ladakh. This is this is hanging from, I should say, a braided leather necklace that my daughter braided. She owes me 2 more, actually, because I paid her for 4, and she's only given me 2. I got to get on her this weekend for that. But I really like this knife. It hangs very nicely around the neck, meaning it gets kind of lost. It's flat, it's light, and you kind of forget you have a 3 3¾ inch dagger hanging around your neck. It comes without the jute cord, but I know, let's see, who was it? Is it Dion maybe who has one of these? And he put micarta handle scales on there. This would be great for handle scales, but I love the jute, and I like how thin it is. It stays thin, so you can stash it away. So this is what I had on me. What did you have on you? My emotional support knife was the Fred Perrin Ladakh. I had the TKL Knives Bob DeMarco Agent 001. I had the Victorinox Compact, and the folding Cayman XL on me. What'd you guys have? Let me know. Lemme, Lemme, just like the bass player. All right. Oh, by the way, I always have a Fred Perrin knife at work around my neck, because on the back of my work ID, which I have under my shirt, I have one of those little ring sort of daggers that you would use to get out of a really bad situation. It's not a dagger, it's a little ring. It's like an OSS ring knife, basically, but so cool, so light. And same kind of thing from Max Knives, just a thin piece of steel, little Kydex sheath, and it just stashes right there. Last ditch kind of thing. All right. Oop, almost lost that. Okay. Show me what you're carrying. Let me know. And in the meantime, I'll let you know that #knife in the comments will get you this, at least in the running, for this beautiful knife. So #knife. It's the CMB Made Lurker. Highlander says, I might have 1 or 2 in the bathroom. Yes. My weapons room has a biometric lock that only opens with my fingerprints. Okay, that's very cool. I met someone over the summer who has that. That was cool. It was hidden too. I need to do something like that. That would be great. In the meantime, I'm just going to post guards at the door. James Hart says the 1849 Ames Rifleman knife from Cold Steel is a near perfect reproduction of the one that Ames Manufacturing made by the U.S. Army back in 1849. It has a false, quote unquote, false edge, and it was the first knife the U.S. Army has made for unit called the mounted rifles way back in 1948-49. It was meant as a backup knife for the rifled muskets they carried. I think that was 1848-49, or maybe I'm wrong. Rifled muskets, though. But that's very interesting. So it was a false top edge. Interesting. I thought that was a sharp one. Professor EDC, very nice to have you here, sir. Bob, Jim, Knife Junkies, hope all is well What's going on? Well, not much. Little this, little of that. I'll tell you what, though, if you want this, just hashtag knife in the comments. Will B says, Bob, should I buy the XM24 Skinny Warncliffe? Hell yes. That sounds awesome. Where's that? Is that DLT trading? I love the XM24 Warncliffe. It is awesome. And to have it skinny, that's a boon because the 24 is a fat knife. James Hart. Yeah. 1848, 49. My bad. Yeah, they were carrying more than rifled muskets in the 1900s. Craig Vincent says, Bob also finally found an old hickory 14-inch blade butcher knife to replace the one I gave away last year. That's awesome. They're getting harder to find, but with a few minor mods, they make a great outdoor knife. Yeah, I know that they were making the 5-inch with the sheath, which I wanted to get. That looks a little Green Rivery, I would say, doesn't it? Wouldn't you say, blade wise, sort of upswept? Split and Slices says, love the Cayman XL XLRD. That's the Red Dawn edition. Great budget folders. Yeah, man. Well, I'll let him talk about it. Check out Sunday's show. We talk a lot about this one, the Mamba V3 in Magna Cut and titanium. We talk a lot about this, but also some of the other cool things he's got coming. Some very interesting things coming up. Very cool. Definitely check it out, especially if you're interested in budget performance. Professor EDC says, carried the Null Knives Voodoo. What a pretty knife that is, man. And the GEC 44, which I also love. A traditional Finnish Puukko. What a nice... That's a perfectly rounded carry. You have something very pretty and modern in the Voodoo. The GEC 44 is a rifle stock, rifleman's what do you call it? A gun stock, 2-blade, and the traditional Finnish Puukko. I love that. I just watched Sisu, and I'm into Puukkos now. I want a Puukko. Also been liking the Moras and the Scandinavian style knives. We're going to open one up here shortly, but yeah, I like that. Jay Demeter, nice to have you here, Jay. Hello to all, he says. Well, how's it going way out there, man? I bet it's beautiful today. Dion Page says, hello, King Junkie, Jim, and all of you junkies. Dion, it's good to have you here as always, man. Mr. Page Highlander says carbon steel makes the best ferro starter and non-coated. Okay. All right. That's good. I had this and I was like, I wonder if this will work. Just this little tops, whatever, neck knife thing. I was like, I bet that's not going to work with that coating there. You would want to hit that with sandpaper, right? Or a file and kind of knock off that high traction coating. And then you'll be able to throw sparks, I bet. I'm so sorry, guys. Pardon me. James Hart says, every morning when I get dressed and I look at numerous folding knives hanging from a rack, I made it easy. I always go to the Cold Steel Voyager Clip Point XL. Yeah, with the 5.5-inch blade. That's cool, man. That's nice. I have the 4-inch. Well, I mean, I have the 5.5-inch too, but I had the 4-inch in an old bug out bag that's kind of been reconstituted and kind of broken down and getting built back up. And I took that out. It's such a cool knife. And I got that thing so sharp, the Aus 8A blade. It's amazing. OG Blade Reviews says, today's carry, Microtech Combat Troodon Tonto. Very nice. Yours is in red, I believe, right? Off-Grid Knives, Rapid Fire Viper. I saw your video today outside doing that. That was cool. Heretic Pariah Mini Auto, and the Kubi Sai Slow, Rosecraft Clinch River Button Lock. That's nice. That's about as close as you get to the traditional, right? To a slip joint. I know it's not a slip joint at all, but it's kind of in the same galaxy. It started out as a slip joint, I guess. Williams Ozokuri, 4.5 fixie, and the Nightcore EDC 29. As always, Dave's got a beautiful carry and a very classy one at that. Ouchie EDC, good to have you here. That's nice. No, I'm not sure what you're talking about. So I'm assuming this is nice. I do like Tops knives, and this is a great little neck knife. But I think this is going to go into a little pouch. I'm into making little kits right now, little survival kits and little possibles bags and that kind of thing. And this is going to go in one because my brother made me a really cool belt pouch out of leather that I never used, and I'm like, oh, I think I know what I want to put in there. Split and Slices says Carrie is day 13 of 30 of one knife. Oh, what's that? 5 same EDC items. Okay, so leather EDC pouch, tack pen, Rise Mart flashlight, Olight Oticule multi-tool, and the Nova One. Oh my God, Byron. You almost bring a tear to my eye with that. That is so awesome. So that's your one knife for that whole, I mean, you have a multi-tool there, but that's your one knife for a month. How cool. I am honored, sir. So honored. That's cool. Donald Fry, nice to have you here, Donald. Howdy, everyone. A little late to the party. Oh, that's my middle name. Toyotas and Tools, good to have you here. That Fred Perrin knife is only $40 on eBay. Yeah, it's super cheap. I got this for 35. I got this for less than 40 on Amazon. So if it falls in your cart accidentally while you're buying toilet paper and ground beef or whatever you get on Amazon, and you happen to hit go and not realize it, it's not going to set you back so much. Is it even worth the return? Bob, the returns are so easy and free and quick. I know, but you still have to drive there. Is it worth that? B Shady says, got my Jake B Creates Modest Mary Fixie. Those are really nice. He's been making those in 3 different blade shapes. What blade shape did you get? I'm curious. Devo Stout V2, Jack Wolf Knives, the Lil Bro, love that, in the Lava Flow, and my daily tie dice. Very cool. Hey, B Shady, let me know what blade shape you got the Jacob Creates. I will say Jake B. Toyota and Tool says it's in my basket. Very nice. Very nice. Oh, we need toilet paper. Okay, I got this. I'll get it. Dion Page says Spike Bowie and Western 66 ready for duty today. Oh, the Spike Bowie. So they never made the second one. Oh, yes, they did. Yes, they did. And I have it. Forget it. Awesome. That's a little argument I had with myself there. Will B says, for my birthday, happy birthday, Will. That's awesome, man. Happy birthday. I'm sorry we missed it. I feel like you mentioned it was coming up. Anyway, happy birthday, sir. I hope it was an awesome one. For my birthday, I had the Grimsmo Norseman, Microtech Amphibian, Microtech Ramlock Stitch, Spyderco Manix 2XL, Microtech Hera 2 Recurve, sensing a theme. I like it. Oh, by the way, Will, I love this Hera Recurve, and I didn't know it existed until I saw yours. TCL Knives, Night Stalker CQC, and Sapper. Oh, love that knife. The Olight 3 Baton, and the Heretic Thoth. Happy birthday, Will be a very, very nice carry. I hope you had a wonderful day, and I hope it continues to be wonderful this evening. Jay Demeter says, Spyderco Paramilitary 2 in crewware. So I have one crewware knife. I really like it, but I have a feeling it's an Alex Steingraber Shark, and I believe it could be in any steel, could be pot metal, and I'd still love it because it's so nicely made and beautifully ground. But in using it to cut boxes and do that kind of cleanup work, I found that it had super high edge resistance. What do you guys think? Who likes crewware and why? I also felt like it could break easily because I felt like it had it just seemed really, really sharp. It seemed like it didn't have the toughness portion to it. Dion Page says, wasn't me that had that dagger, but I wish I did. Well, $35 could be yours, all yours. 5-door says Hinderer Fire Tack Recurve. That's the only version of the Fire Tack that I actually actively like. If someone gave me a Fire Tack of any persuasion, of course, I'd take it enthusiastically and learn to love it like an arranged marriage, to a really solid landowner. But the recurve blade would get my heart racing enough to consecrate said marriage. And a Wright and Son Barlow lamb's foot. Lamb's foot's a cool blade shape. It's extreme. It's like a sheep's foot. You know, it's like an edgy sheep's foot. I like it. Ned Nephilim Slayer, slaying those Nephilim. That's cool. I like your David and Goliath. At work tonight, well, God love you. A Spyderco camo military second and a Zabo felony stop. Ah, man after my own heart. I love that felony stop. Don't you feel just a little bit safer with the felony stop on you? Very intuitive, feels good in hand. I mean, if someone pulled that one out and you kind of knew what you're looking at, you'd think twice for sure. Excellent choice, sir. And then, of course, the ultra solid paramilitary 2, the imminently collectible paramilitary 2. Scotch and Things. Nice to have you here, Scotch and Things. Another guy with an awesome collection here. On the road for work. So Miller Tie. Oh, the Miller T1. So is that the Miller Brothers T1 and the Cold Steel 8010? Scotch and Things. This is kind of funny. You're like, on the road. So obviously that means I'm carrying my Miller Brothers. Like, that's quite a flex. And what I mean by that, like, not too many people have a Miller Brothers folder. Am I correct? That's what you're talking about. The folder, that big folder. That's pretty cool. You got to have that close by. You don't want that at home where it's not being looked after. That's for sure. And then a Cold Steel 8010. Yeah, definitely a solid choice when you don't want someone to hold you up for your other knife. Jesse, nice to have you here, Jesse. Evening all, he says. Well, evening to you, sir. Have a Knife Day says Spyderco Lacy Zabo black carbon fiber. Okay, I have questions. DLC coating, love this knife. A custom Bowie knife with antler handle. Oh, so nice. From my last trip to the James Black Bowie Heritage Festival in Washington, Arkansas. Let me ask you about the Lacy Zabo. I've always loved that knife. Always a bit bummed out by the fact that it has the compression lock, but it's not a free moving knife, free moving blade. Like, you can't flip it all the way back in to the handle like that, like you would with a regular compression lock, like on a paramilitary 2 or a military 2 or what have you. Because I think the reasoning at the time was this blade is so big and dangerous that if we allow it to freely rotate on that pivot, it's going to take someone's hands off and we're going to get sued. Am I right? Have a Knife Day. Do you have to like kind of get over some sort of a detent to get that thing closed? Just curious. Will B says the XM24 Skinny Warncliffe is available at multiple places, you dumbass. All right, I'm gonna have to check it out. The reason I ask the reason I asked DLT is because that's where I got that's where I got both of my Warncliffes. I thought for some reason, I don't know, that they had the exclusive on the Warncliffes. Guess not. But I highly recommend, Will be, that you get one. You will definitely not be disappointed knowing your tastes. Adrian Fighter 35. Today's carry was the Cold Steel Mini Tack Bowie style hip carry, Coben serrated boot carry. Very nice. Do you use the boot clip that it came with? Double agent serrated Bowie neck. Got that. The double agent, that's the double ring karambit type knife, and a Spartan picket carry. Spartan picket carry. I don't know what that is. Oh, pocket carry. Pocket carry. Duh. Very nice. Very nice carry combo there. Mini CQC5 says Joseph S. Lex Rex custom fixed blade. Unfamiliar. Zippo and Ty Marlin spike. Lex Rex custom fixed blade. Do tell. Do tell. Let me show this off. Here it is. Vic Holm, nice to have you here, Vic. I come from a family of Vics. Believe you me, family of Vics. Lots of Vics in my family. I am not one of them. We have I guess runner-up is Roberts, but it's like a distant runner-up to the Vics. So Vic, very nice to have you. Always in my pocket is my Jung Lee Venom semi-Japan blade. Very sharp. Okay, now I'm curious. Jung Lee. I'm going to have to check that out. I don't know that one, Vic. We're going to be giving this away to a lucky gentleman junkie coming up next week. This is the all tie, all Magna Cut, 4-inch Magna Cut bladed Warncliffe awesomeness. This is the off grid Mamba V3. Now, you've seen the black Mamba V2 here. It looked just like this, but had a 3-inch blade. So, by comparison, tiny. This one has that awesome 4-inch Magna Cut blade. You know how I feel about off-grid knives in terms of their sliciness and their cardboard cutting and everything else cutting, but man, they really accelerate at that job, which is, you'd think this would be all tactical all day long, but it can take care of some chores. Half-inch thick, 0.6-inch thick titanium slabs are the same width as the 3-inch version. So the 3-inch version is perfectly hand filling for the smaller handle, and that same width is perfectly slender for such a big knife and big handle. So very happy to be giving this away. Excited to give this away. I have kept the tan and gray version of this, and I will be your brother in arms with this. And then also to the lucky winner who gets this, you're also getting the Bullet V2 EDC bit driver. It's just an awesome bit driver. I have my own here. This is the one. It had magnets. It has magnets. I'm sorry. Let me look at what I'm doing. It has magnets in these little divots to hold the bits, but then it also has O-rings, requires them because the magnets just weren't as strong. Super incredible, fidgety bearing action there. This one, basically the same Godilla, just a stronger magnets here. You don't need the O-rings on this one. So really, really great tool for changing scales on your knives or whatever you need a bit driver for, whether it's knives or anything else. The Bullet V2 and the off-grid knives Mamba V3, an off-grid giveaway package for the next lucky gentleman junkie winner. There you go. I'm gonna put this over here and continue. So I want to remind people that in about 10 minutes or so, we're going to be giving this knife away. Let me put this back under the thing. You can gaze at it, and I'll take a look at some comments. That is D2 blade steel. That is black micarta. Really nice micarta. Awesome action. Nice hand-filling handle. Beautiful, what do you call it? Liner lock. Vic says, always, Pete, good day, blokes. Hey, nice to have you here, Pete Davidson. Good day, blokes. If you want a Puko, try Roselli knives. Good variety, excellent blades. Yes, I remember. Listen, Roselli, and isn't Martini another one, or do they make more of the Mora style knives? But Sisu, anyone see the movie Sisu, where he puts that giant Puko through a guy's head? It's like, yes. And not just a guy. He didn't just put through a guy's head. It was a sneering Nazi, you know. Sneering Nazis always, yeah, when they get the knife in the head, you're like, okay, that's good. David Nephilim Slayer says, don't forget to check the Northern Lights tonight. I'm not sure if I'm going to see them down here in Virginia, but those of you at an elevation where you think you will see them, check them out. Now, this I have not heard of. Have I? I feel like something recently came across my prefrontal cortex, but I kind of wiped it away with my windshield wipers. Craig Vincent says, Cold Steel limited edition titanium AD10, Formax Scout, S35 VN Bush Ranger. What do we got here? Raja 2. Some kind of geomagnetic storm or something. Thanks, Jim. All right, so we got some sort of geomagnetic storm that I do seem to remember. Which, hang on, I'm going to put Craig Vincent on hold for a sec, which just kind of reminds you of how everything is built on clay feet here. It would take very little and totally out of human hands to topple everything like that. Okay, on that happy note, Craig Vincent says, Cold Steel limited edition titanium AD10 Formax Scout S35 VN Bush Ranger. Okay, I like that Bush Ranger. Reminds me a lot of the old fixed blade Bush Ranger. Raja 2, XL Voyager drop point Vaquero serrated, 4-inch tall wear. I need to get the 4-inch tall wear. serrated Coburn, and the Lucky 2 slip joint. Now that Lucky 2 has 2 serrated blades in it, doesn't it? So yeah, hashtag knife, put it in there. Come on, guys, just put hashtag knife in the comments. I want as many names in the hopper as possible. So that's for this knife right here. Isaiah says, wish me luck, Bob, on getting my knife tomorrow. I feel like you would take a seat at the round table of knife gods. So your blessing goes a long way. All right. Isaiah, may you get the knife you are wishing. But it's very hard for me to bestow my blessings on this, most desired transaction if I can't utter the name. But I'm not going to ask you to do that here. So I'll just let the gods fill it in. The knife Hephaestus. Vic Holmes says, always in my pocket. And thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Jungli Venom. Seki City, Japan blade made in USA. Oh, very nice. Very sharp. That sounds awesome. Seki, we all know Seki City, Japan is one of the steel capitals of the world. It was Solingen, Seki City, not Toledo, Sevilla, Damascus, right? Is Damascus in there? I mean, I know obviously Damascus steel comes from there, but you know what I mean. Donald Fry, XM24 Skinny Warncliffe has been calling my name loudly. Bad month to have already spent my knife allowance. Oh, that sucks, Donald. That sucks. I know that feeling, especially, yeah, you're like, yeah. When you spend it maybe not half-heartedly, but not wholeheartedly on something, and then something that you wholeheartedly want pops up, you're like, I've made a terrible mistake. I will never recover financially from this. Wilby says, thanks, Bob. I'm 40 today. You're 40. Oh, God, a babe in the woods, Wilby. Happy birthday to you, sir. I think right here, we will salute you with this right here. I'm going to give you a happy birthday salute. My friend, 40 years old. That is awesome. May you have 40 more at the very least, and happy, healthy 40 more, that is, with your family by your side, people you love and respect all around you, and years of fulfillment to you, sir. Happy 40. Life begins at 40, for sure. Actually, for me, it began at 30. I went downhill until 30. All self-induced. I had a wonderful growing up, and then I just decided to put some obstacles in my way, and then we do that sometimes. Ryan Walker says, so happy birthday, Will B, just to put a bow on it. Happy birthday, sir. Ryan Walker says, today and every day carry is the Bravo 3. I warped the edge today only 50 millimeters deep, and I straightened it out. Okay. Got to be careful chopping hardwood. Oh, yeah. Chopping. Now, when you say chopping, are you chopping or are you chopping like batoning? You're like, I said, if I said batoning, then it would mean batoning, but I actually said chopping. So I meant chopping, Bob. Pete Davidson says, been carrying my full titaniumed Endura. That's right. Okay. So you bought the Endura K390 and titaniumed it. I like that as a verb. And a Victorinox compact, good taste, with the same treatment for about a month straight now. That K390 is such a performer. I was in a little mini conversation with someone we all know and love about K390 today, and should I hold out for it? And it was kind of like, sure. But I have this very, very other interesting steel, and I was like, I'll take that if it's available. David Nephilim Slayer says, too old to grapple. Felony stop as anti-grappling device. No shiznit. I don't need any freaking wrestlers grabbing hold of me, man. They're too fast. I mean, I know a trick or two, but we all have to be like very chill about it. And you know how those wrestlers who are actually trying to fight you and kill you are. They're not so chill. Scotch and Things says, yeah, the T1 is the folder. It's a beast. I love it. I've seen your pictures of it. I love it. It's cool. It's definitely not for me. It would have been for me at one time, like during my uh when I really wanted a dire wear. This could have totally, like, I could see you carrying a dire wear, seeing as you like that and have that. So yeah, big, chunky, beautiful, nasty, tactical, but also very interesting and with a lot of kind of unique design features. Yours has a double thumb stud, right? Mark Stallman says, Mark, I think I greeted you, but if I hadn't, nice to have you. Thinking of getting the Cayman XL, carried the SOG Trident AT today. Love clip points. Dadgummit, sir. You definitely should get one of these. And I'm going to do it. I'm going for the hard sell. You should not only get one of these or one of its fixed blade Bowie brothers, which is right here, but you should use our affiliate link. Go to theknifejunkie.com/offgrid, and we have an affiliate link. So what that means is you buy one of these using that link that you would hook up with down below, and that gives us a little kickback. I mean, a little. How does that work? It's a kickback. No. Yeah, it's a kickback. They send us a small percentage. It's an affiliate link, and it's greatly appreciated. And every once in a while, I'll get a little $37 check from Off Grid Knives. I'm like, that's so awesome. That's just from someone seeing a video and liking the knife and going for it. And they are definitely worth going for. Sorry. Yes, get it. If that's what you wanted, get it. And also check this out. This thing is awesome. This is my so I have obviously I have a number of knives in my bedroom, but it's not out of control because I want to know where everything is in the bedroom. So I have a few Bowies, and this is one of them, and this is the top drawer of the dresser Bowie. So now I'm going to have to change that because I told you all where it is. So that's going to change. But for a long time, this was the top drawer of the dresser Bowie, meaning if I'm walking by and I need a knife, this is the one I would grab. Stephen Clayton Jr., I was just thinking about you and an offer you made me a while ago. I'm well, we'll talk about it sometime. I don't want to give you the knife, but I'm interested in the thing you had to trade. So I might want to buy it from you if you're looking to get rid of it. Anyway, Stephen Clayton, always a pleasure to have you, sir. I'm pretty sure you had this on you today. I was carrying my Agent 001, and Stephen Clayton Jr. is definitely our TKL Knives. What do you want to call him? Ambassador. He's got them all, and he's got them all on him. Vic Holmes says, spelling error. I was trying to say Seki City, Japan, 3.5-inch blade, non-serrated folder. Very nice. Very nice. Those Seki, excuse me, the Seki City made Spydercos that I have are exquisite. I have an old SOG. Actually, thanks to Doug Bowl, I have two old SOG folders made in Seki City. Man, it's just everything is so tight and so refined. I'm me. Nice to have you here. I'm me. Hello, he says. And well, we say hello right back at you. Kilkenny, nice to have Kilkenny with us. Getting ready for a camping trip. I want to be getting ready for a camping trip. Trying to choose between my Spartan Blades Kukri or my Ontario Marine Raider Bowie for the big blade. All right. Kilkenny, I'm assuming you're a real camper and you're not car camping. If you were car camping, I would say, well, of course you bring both and then you decide what you want on you and then you leave one in the car. But I'm assuming that you're taking one. I'm wondering if the Marine Raider Bowie might not be the better choice for the simple reason that its handle is so damn forgiving. And if you're going to be out there and you're batoning a lot of wood or whatever you're chopping, whatever you're doing, that handle is going to be kinder on the hand. It's more hand filling and it's soft because it's that cushiony rubber. The blade is badass and it's 1075, I think, so it's super tough. But that Spartan Blades Kukri is also super awesome. I don't know. Man, that's a quandary. That ultimately, I guess I would say go Marine Raider Bowie. Also, I feel like it might be a little lighter. I could be mistaken. Feel like it might be lighter. But let me know what you decide ultimately. I'd love to hear it. And let me know where you're going camping, not necessarily the place, but the type of environ. Pete Davidson says, Flytanium scales on my Endura. They didn't fit the Emerson Endura, but the regular flat ground Endura fits fine. Okay. I love those Emerson Enduras and Delicas. I got one for my wife. I got her the Delica. She always kind of forgets she has it. I don't think she likes it that much or appreciates it that much. I think I could steal it from her and incorporate it into my collection. But what would that make me? That would make me a guy with an Emerson Delica. So maybe a little happier. Uh-oh. Hear the dog. Dion Page says, stab, chop, slice, stick, slash, and hack that. I was going to say stab, chop, slice, stick, hack, slash, and stab that button, junkies. It's like dodge, duck, dart, dash, and dodge. Highlander says, check out the windless Mora. Oh, yes. Very slick leather sheath. Very impressed. I remember when they came out with those within the last year. We covered it on the Wednesday show. Yeah, they look nice and definitely a jump in price. I have these two Moras out. This has been getting a lot of use just because I've been doing a lot of campfire cooking. I've done 3 dishes now, so that's a lot for me. So it's looking like it's going to be about one a weekend for a while. Thanks so much, Bob, says Will Be. My pleasure, sir. Many more to you. This is a great knife for carving. I carved a spatula that's getting a lot of use in the kitchen now, and it's also good for making tinder and just cutting everything. This thing is awesome, the companion. But I also have this one. This was the first Mora I ever got, the Model 2, I think it is. I really like this old girl. It's like, it's got that old red handle. It's bulbous. It's not circular. It is oval. So it will resist turning in your hand, but just generally not as comfortable and, not as good at it as this. I'm going to open up this in a minute here. I'm very excited to check this out. This is the little Eldris that everyone and their cousin has except for me. So I'm very excited to check that out. Let's see. Stephen Clayton Jr. says Remnant Alliance, Xiphos, Scourge, TKL Knives, Agent 001, Agent 002, Agent 003, the Combatant, the Raider, the Taylor's Ridge. Pause for refreshment. The Piranha, the TS-87, the FLN, the Guard, the Night Stalker Combat Grade, the Night Guard 2.0, the Night Hawk, the Gideon V3, the Wingard Wearables Micro Dick Pic. What a great combination of knives. You have at least 12 there. I might be miscounting, but Stephen, I appreciate it, man. I love how you actually carry those, and you managed to make it work. Todd Carr says, evening, everyone. Evening, Todd. We're just about to give this away, Todd. If you're just joining us, this could be yours for the mere price of typing #knife in the comments in the next minute, because we're about to give this away. #knife could win this. You don't have to be a gentleman junkie. Don't have to be a patron of any sort. You just have to be present, present, and you have to be able to type the word knife with a hashtag in front of it. Pete Davidson says, I'm arsing about, I like that. I'm arsing about in the shed today, anodizing titanium scales for my Emerson Matriarch. Ooh, that's cool. Along with some other bits. Wish I had a Delica sized version. It would work better for me with a ring. Yes, for sure. You wouldn't have all that extra space because the Matriarch is about, it's a slightly smaller than an Endura handle, but it's for all intents and purposes about that size. And when you add that ring to the end of that, it's just like a whole other part of the knife that if you had the 3-inch handle or the, nearly 4-inch handle of a Delica, with that would be awesome. Todd Carr Off Grid makes some nice knives. They definitely do. All right, Jim, let's do this. Let's give this thing away. We've been teasing it for a while, and I think it's time. I really like this clip point blade. Adrian Fighter says, since you asked, no sheath. The clip sucks. Okay, yeah, no kidding. I wear Doc Martens. I lace the laces through the holes on the sheath. That works. All right, so you wear it right on the front. You must have some pretty tall Docs, we used to call them. You must have some pretty tall Doc Martens. We got my daughter some Doc Martens a few years ago, and she wore them for a while and then was just like, I'm done with these. I'm like, damn it. I wish they fit me because they were some of the most comfortable. I used to get the red ones, the oxblood, but never tall enough to lace in a boot knife. I got to say, that's very cool. I love the boot knife thing. I've been wearing a knife for the past few days right on the strap of my shoulder bag. I'm going to show it to you here. And it's not like I wander around in public with it. I walk in and out of work with it. No one has really seen it, I don't think, and no one has commented, and I don't think they would. And I'm just going to see for just a minute. And that was also inspired by Sisu because he has a knife right there, and I thought that was very cool. And this knife, which I'm going to show you, that was sent to me, I really like. It's like a mini survival knife. Super cool. All right, let's give this thing away. Let's put the names up. Thank you, Jim. Hashtag knife in 3, 2, and 1. All right, how many we got here? Well, chances are good. It is Marco. Marco couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Marco, you still here? Let me know. But please also send your address to me at TheKnifeJunkie at gmail.com. And let me know where to send this to. And I'm not going to tell you when I'm going to get this out, because last week I said I'll probably get it out tomorrow, and it was almost a week until I got it out. Sorry, Byron. So yeah, just send me your address and I will get it out post haste. Todd Carr says Leatherman Surge, Gerber Dime and Shard, Cold Steel AD10, Kaiser Escort in 20 CV, Benchmade Mini Freak 5th Pocket, Decal Knives Nighthawk, the Olight i3T. What a great light that is. The Arkfeld UV, that's another good one, and the Rovivon A3. And a Forest tank. Is the Rovivon A3, is that a pen? Do tell. And don't just say pen. Say Rovivon is a pen, because Todd Carr, my memory doesn't last that long. Cooper Clark, nice to have you here, Cooper. Hello, all. Just getting on to watch. Working at the firehouse tonight. Well, big hello to everyone at the firehouse. I hope everyone has their knives and they are sharp. I work adjacent to some public safety people, and I always ask what kind of knives they have. Frequently, the answer is Benchmade. If it's any sort of named brand, it's Benchmade. They not public service, first responders love their Benchmades. Am I right? Tell me if a lot of you in the firehouse have Benchmades. Pete Davidson says a Bowie in the push could be easier to sharpen. I'm sorry. A Bowie in the bush could be easier to sharpen and carry than a kukri. That is a very interesting observation. I would say that the kukri, sorry about this, the kukri is 1095 Crovan, and the Marine Raider Bowie from Ontario is 1070 or 1065, 1070 or 1075, something like that. It's a little bit lower in, I guess, chromium, for whatever that's worth. David Nephilim Slayer says the Seki Moki made for Spyderco. What's that? I'm trying to remember what that is. The SOG and Almar and others are treasures. It's funny you should say that, David. I was on, as I mentioned earlier, Arizona Custom Knives, and I was looking at old Almar Eagle folders with the jigged bone. How cool! 4-inch blade. It was like such a cool little big folder, big, slender, classy, gentlemanly, but also long enough to hit all the vitals. Love that Almar Eagle. Very cool. Pete Davidson says, "Hey Bob, you used to you use your silky saw yet? I have not. I have not used my silky, just the big sort of imitation one that I got off Amazon so far. I'm planning a little local trip. That'll be my first camping trip. It'll be local, and I'm going to go solo. It's going to be stealth. It's going to be right behind the police station. I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that. We have a park here I'm going to go to just to kind of get my feet wet. And then I'll go again and bring one of my daughters, and then I'll go again and bring another one of my daughters. I want to get them interested, and then to get my wife, who's a major indoor cat, interested in camping. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I've gotten her really liking my cooking over the fire pit. So I think that's the entree, the cooking. I think she'll get into it that way. Craig Vincent says, Bob, I went on Northern Knives website and discovered the trade-in program. What a joy filled my heart when I realized I have easily 100 non-cold steel knives that I can trade for a Hinderer. Exactly. I mean, I don't know exactly how it works, but that's my plan. I saw a really nice looking a Bark River knife. I can't remember the model. What I think it's called the Outdoorsman, kind of generic, kind of in this vein, but looks kind of like a mix between this and the classic Marbles Woodsman. So I'd love to get that. It's like a $300 knife. I have definitely $300 worth of really nice folders that I don't use. So that'd be a nice thing to do. Ryan Walker, I remember a guy who had a whole bunch of TCAL knives on him. Today, I think that was probably Steven. Today, I found a tweaker machete in the sand. I was digging with a shovel, ripping clothes out of the ground. Okay. All right. I remember I think you meant to put Met, a guy who had a whole bunch of TCAL knives on him. So Ryan, that was probably Stephen Clayton. And then you say, today I found a tweaker machete in the sand. How do you know it was the tweaker part? I'm curious about this, Ryan. In the sand. I was digging with a shovel, ripping clothes out of the ground. That's another mystery. Ripping clothes out of the ground. What do you mean by that? Did you see, you're on the beach, I guess, and you see clothes in the sand. You're like, what's this? I'm going to throw this out. So Ryan, please give me some context. This is some fascinating stuff, but I really want to know how you know it was like a tweaker's machete. Is that a thing? Curious. So maybe they cook hoe cakes on them, like they used to do hoe cakes on hose. Dion Page says, my Mora is in the shower knife. Nice. Sharp, stainless, and grippy handle. That's a good idea. Actually, this would make a pretty decent shower knife. My shower knife is one of the plastic, is the plastic cold steel ring dagger. And then, but really, it's this. I would pull the shower curtain off and choke the shit out of them. I would be so pissed. Cooper Clark says, have my Sebenza 31 Black micarta inlay with me today. I got to say, I love the inlay pattern of the 31. It's really grown on me. I remember at first when the 31s first came out, I was like, oh, too much. But it looks like the fender of a 1930s car or something. It's just so, I don't know. It's beautiful. I think it looks nice. Okay, Ryan Walker, returning the land back to normal, finding knives and scrap metal. How cool. First of all, cool that you're returning the land back to normal. But also that in doing that, you're finding blades. That's cool. I mean, don't we all kind of wish oh, look, a Hinderer, and you pick it up and, I mean, wouldn't that be awesome? Luck Knives, howdy. Hey, I'm liking your new logo, Mike, and you've just been killing it. You've been doing a lot of stuff. You did one recently that was, I think it was your first hollow ground blade out of a big, thick billet. That was so impressive. That was very cool. Jeremy Nedro says, Jeremy, nice to have you here, Jeremy. I just entropic anodized my titanium Spyderco tenacious scales. Okay, so you gotta help me, Jeremy. Entropic. I think of entropy, and entropy is the inevitable breakdown of all things. What is entropic in this case? Is this some sort of a breakdown that doesn't require chemical acceleration or something like that? Tell me, do tell. Entropic. Todd Carr says, keep Mora knives in all my vehicles and toolboxes. Cheap, well heat treated. If it gets lost or stolen, easy to replace. Todd, I love that idea. Mrs. Knife Junkie, we're getting a whole bunch of Moras. We're gonna yeah, that would be awesome. Getting a whole bunch of Moras coming in. How sweet would that be? Speaking of Moras, let's open this one up. I want to check this out. Pete Davidson says the 90s and very early 2000s was such a good period for Seki made knives. Moki and G Sakai was like the Wii and Riot of the day. Okay, Moki, then that Moki kind of looks familiar. Moras are great knives. Okay, so this one here has a fire starter that comes with it. I'm excited about this. It has plastic, so this will be the unboxing, the actual taking off of the plastic. I'll cleverly and on theme use this Mora to cut the plastic. I like this kind of tearing this kind of thick plastic. Okay, so that fire starter is connected in a different box. Let's get that. Fire starter, secondary lock paracord. All right, I'm intrigued. Okay, so this goes around the Eldris, I believe. This must be the secondary lock to the knife. And then here's a Faranicium rod. How do you say that? Faranocium ferro rod. Okay, let's see the knife. This is nice. Thank you for sending this Mora knife. I know I paid for it, but it's a nice little package. All right, so this is the Eldris in green. I know we've had a lot of people on this show in their pocket checks have mentioned that they carry the Eldris quite a bit. Ooh, put this aside. So I guess it needs this to hang. Okay, I thought it would. Oh, it does attach. Okay, you can attach the paracord right here. There's the knife. Beautiful compound ground blade. Looks like whatever schmutz they put on there kind of solidified on there a little bit. I will probably just polish this up a touch, but man alive, look at that. This thing looks sharp as hell. Let's see. Do I need this? Not really. Yeah, okay. Super sharp. I will keep this just in case. But man, I like the way this feels in hand. I always thought it would be smaller, but I can get a full 4-finger grip on this, and it really nestles in the fist. So for like carving tasks and that kind of thing, making fire sticks, making tent stakes, making sticks for roasting marshmallows on the fire. Very nice blade. Okay, let's see, what's the blade? Made in Sweden, stainless, so I'm assuming it's 14C or 12C or one of those kind of blade steels. But very excited. I'm very glad I finally got this knife. This is cool. I look forward to carrying it. I've been carrying this one quite a bit, and I gotta say, I don't know if the Eldris will get the same sort of neck carry, but this will definitely get some sort of carry. But it's no primitive wicket. I mean, look at the difference. The reason this one gets so much carry is how small and thin and light it is. So I don't know if the Eldris will go around my neck. It certainly won't go around my neck under my shirt. But it might be the kind of thing where when I'm doing certain activities, bloop, it'll go right on there. Thanks, guys, says Marco. You are very welcome, sir. Can't wait to get this out to you. Let me know where to send it. Shane, how you doing, man? Edgy American. He was just at the Self-Reliance Festival and selling all sorts of knives, man. You pumped out a lot of knives for that show. At least that's what it looked like from Instagram. So nicely done. I hope you had a great show, and I hope it put wind in your sails for further great shows. Love it. Todd Carr says Rovi Von A3 small EDC light with a power with a of power. Keep it on my keychain. I3T is my Leatherman sheath. Gotcha. Arkfeld UV stays in pocket. What do you think of this? I've been watching all sorts of self-reliance videos just because they're interesting to me now. And what about these lighters where you take a Bic and then you wrap it with some Gorilla Tape, but on the inside of the Gorilla Tape you put your fishing hooks and your fishing line and your little red yarn for bait and a little X-Acto blade and all that stuff, and then you close it. What do you think of those? Anyone do that with lighters? I'm about to. I have one that I wrapped in that sort of stoner hemp cord that you light, that's waxed, so you don't have to breathe in the butane, man. But it's great for keeping a flame. So I have that around a Bic lighter now. So in case I'm in a survival situation, I don't want to waste my gas, I can light that. To me, I'm just nerding out on the gear, and definitely I'm looking forward to when I can actually go somewhere cool and interesting to go camping. But before then, I'm just gonna build up skills and excitement and do some local camping, and then I want to go somewhere cool. Jay Demeter says, and I don't want to go alone because Bigfoot. Jay Demeter says, the knocking of your mic made me answer the door. Sorry, man. That's funny. Yeah, it creaks. Oh, this arm creaks terribly. And yeah, you might think Godzilla is attacking. Cooper Clark says, our uniform store has Benchmade, so we can use our uniform allowance to buy them. That's cool. Lots of Benchmades and Leatherman. Yeah, I mean, Leatherman are just infinitely useful. Like, I've heard, read, and asked, a lot of people who are involved in combat stuff and special forces and what's your most used knife? It's the Leatherman. It's the Leatherman, because we're not out there getting in combat knife fights. It happens sometimes. That certainly happens, but it's not so much a fight as it is, but where was I going with that? Oh, feel like remember him? Remember our president? Bob, I recently was gifted a new Spyderco Carahawk. How cool. I love this thing. Yeah, the Carahawk was kind of an obscure model for them, and I feel like it was their first Wharncliffe, and it was sort of like a what do you think of this? You like the Wharncliffe? And they kind of like put it out in this weird Carahawk, because the Carahawk had it's more of a hawk bill, isn't it? I guess. But didn't it also have a drop point? Maybe I'm mistaken. But anyway, very nice acquisition. It's nice to be gifted a knife, especially when it's something sweet. And that Carahawk, that's a Seki City knife, isn't it? Pete Davidson, love my Almar Eagles. I can only wish for one with premium modern materials and made in Japan. I dare not use any of my Almars now. Too hard to replace. Yeah. No doubt. Craig Vincent, I love Moras. I have several companions, including the heavy-duty version. But my favorite is the Cansball. Hultifors are also very good. Wait. The Cansball, is that the black one? I'm gonna yeah, there's some others I want to check out for sure. Let me show you this. Where is it? Here it is. Since I'm into all this kind of stuff, I have this beautiful German hatchet that my good friend Mike gave me. If you're into commuter bikes and really cool not exotic, but really cool commuter bikes and really kick-ass bikes, he's got a great place called the Broadway Cyclery in Bedford, Ohio. You might want to check out near Cleveland. But in any case, he's an axe junkie, a bit of an axe junkie, because for years and years, like way more than 10 years, he heated his domicile with wood. So he was always chopping wood. He loved to say, it heats you twice. but he got me this, knowing that I have an appreciation for fine cutlery, and he's like, check out this fine axe. And so this was hanging and will continue to hang on my wall, but as a wall hanger for a long time. I am not using this, man. And then I finally, plus it was pretty dull, but I've finally got one of those pucks, one of those Lansky pucks for sharpening tools and axes, and I sharpened this, and I will continue to sharpen. I want it to be razor-y, because it does have such a stout geometry here behind the edge, but just an awesome hatchet. Yeah, I scratched it up a little bit, but when it starts going through logs, it's going to get scratched up. It's pretty darn sharp now, I got to say. The edge was a little bit uneven. It's got this great hammer pull on the back. Helkowerk has some pretty cool looking hatchets and axes. They have a traditional line that doesn't have this polish. So the polish, helps it slip through the medium, slip through the wood with less friction. And it also reduces, it bolsters corrosion resistance. But just a really, really awesome bit of kit here. And I love tomahawks, but I always think of tomahawks more as weapons. I know that tomahawks, most tomahawks flex into the tool category as well. But I don't know. It's nice to have a hatchet with that wedge shaped, blade to just chop through stuff. Oh, I should have filled that up before I started gabbing about knives. Now, so I showed you that. Oh, okay. So I have another cool thing. Ferrocerium. Here's the thing. I'm usually really good at pronouncing stuff. Really, I swear. Especially people's names. I feel like I can do that. Ferrocerium. Oh, I could have just looked right next door to the word where you had it broken down phonetically. Ferrocerium. Thank you. Ferrocerium. The E after the R is silent, I believe. Okay. Ferrocerium. Right. I got you. You wouldn't say Ferrocerium. Ferrocerium. All right. Done saying that. Speaking of Ferrocerium, on this knife, there's a Ferrocerium rod. So this is a cool. Here. Wait, before I put this away and talk about this knife, let me show you this beautiful piece of leather that goes on this axe. Man, I love this thing. And I have a renewed appreciation for it. And I'm excited to use it. A fine axe, because we have a really nice hatchet that I paid $10 for at the Home Depot, and it does a great job, but it ain't this kind of classy Joyman X. I'm gonna put this down here. Dion Page says, time to snooze, junkies. Got to finish the knife shop roof tomorrow. Have a great weekend, knife friends. Thank you, Dion. Best of luck, and be careful up there on that roof, man. You know how those slanted roofs are. Very, very dangerous. Slanted roofs are. We don't want only but the most trained daredevils to go up on those slanted roofs. Todd Carr says, Altoid tin fire starting and survival kit. Lots of ways to pack them, but depends on your area and season. Seen a bunch of them done that way. Yeah, I've been doing that too. And I've also been making these little buddy burners, where you coil up a cardboard on the side and then you melt down candles and wax and petroleum jelly and put it in there. And then I'm liking all these kind of nerdy little hacks. I think they're cool. Edgy American says, most knives used in combat are for when they're asleep. Yeah, silent kill. Like yeah. Like Odysseus and Diomedes creeping across the line and killing Trojans in their sleep. I love that scene. George or Jorge says Carahawk is a karambit. Oh, thank you, Jorge or George. It is a karambit. You're right, but that is a Seki model. What was I thinking of? Not the Carahawk. I was thinking of something else. What the hell was that? I'll remember. No, I won't. Well, maybe I will. Takar says, Pete something. Jerry C, nice hatchet. Thanks, Jerry. I appreciate it. It is pretty sweet. I remember when my friend bought it for me, I was like, oh, this is way too much hatchet for me. And I was like, what am I talking about? Jeremy Nedro, everyone have a great night. Jeremy, you have an awesome night, sir. And have a great weekend. Good to see you, Jacob Green. My favorite is the Cans Ball 2. It's my go-to saltwater fishing knife. Okay. California Pacific got nothing on it. Oh, okay. All right. So do you mean the Pacific models like the K1 model or the Sorry, are you talking about the Spyderco Salt series? What are you talking about? But the Cans Bowl, I need to check those out for sure. Craig Vincent says, Bob, as a cigar aficionado for 40 years, I'm never without fire. I frequently carry a creme brulee torch. That's freaking awesome in my cargo pants pocket. That's cool, man. That's a great way to light a cigar. And I love creme brulee. So I will take both, sir. Creme brulee first with a coffee. The Carahawk, says George or Jorge. I'm sorry, dude. Is it Jorge? I see the J, and that's what I think. The Carahawk is a Spyderco lockback karambit with G10 scales, hawkbill blade, finger ring with the patented Emerson wave deployment. And doesn't it also, the finger rings are like the liners, right? So it's two thin finger rings that are parallel and close to one another. Do you have one of those? Mark Stallman says, tweaker machete, best line of the night, still laughing. Yeah, love that. Tweaker machete. Craig Vincent says, am I the only guy in the chat with a cold steel Bushman Bowie permanently mounted to the end of a Home Depot shovel handle? I certainly hope not, Craig. Jeez, man, what is the world coming to? You know, any man that would do less is less than a man, sir. Yeah, we all need some sort of a spear, and I got to say, I am underspeared. But I always wanted the boar hunting spear from Cold Steel. Jacob Green says, I'm glad to have caught this. I'm glad I could catch this stream. I just finished preparing for a job interview with the county government, and this was the perfect surprise while I prepare. Hey, Jacob, I know more than you might think about that job, and best of luck to you, sir. And I'm glad you found this show too. I'm glad you caught us live. You will do fine in your interview. Here's the trick. I know it's most likely a different place, but here's the trick with the interview. Listen to every part of the question and answer every part of the question, because they will give you multiple questions in one question, and they want every one of those questions answered. So if you got to write down a note, and just remember what it is and answer every question. And talk to them like they're idiots. Talk to them like they have no idea. And you are introducing them to life in general, but especially that job. And you will do fine, sir. Over-explain. James Hart says, and the kukri is a scream and leap combat knife. Yes, indeed. Yes. Scream and leap combat knife. But I mean, especially if we're still talking about the Harzy design kukri knife, what a great outdoors knife that must be. I don't know, I haven't used it, but because it's a kukri, you got all that recurve, you got all that forward weight, but it's also somewhat straight, so you're not dealing with the huge curve for some things that you might not be used to curving with. Maura Cansbowl, Pacific Ocean. Oh, I got you. Split and Slices says, I'm not worried about a knife. I'm worried about the yo-yo saw blade in 007 Bond film Octopus. Yeah. Octopussy. What a great movie. Octopussy was one of my favorites. I used to love Roger Moore. I'm not as big of a Roger Moore fan as I was in the 80s, but I dug him back then. And my very favorite Bond movie for a long time, my very favorite movie, period, when I was a kid was For Your Eyes Only, which was such a great movie. So good. Classic Bond from the 80s, the exploding Lotus Esprit, the monastery on top of the giant cliff that he has to climb up using, and then the hot girl with the crossbow. That was his sad lover. Oh, what a great movie. That is a really good one. And then the gymnast, or the ice skater and the Russian coach. And man, what a great movie that is. Yeah. And the ATAC atomic targeting system. Check it out. It's great. Edgy American says that Carahawk will live clipped to my door panel to thwart road ragers or anyone who wants to reach inside. That's funny you say that, because this is, I have several knives in my car, but the one that I always think of as the self-defense knife here, I don't have one here with me, but it's the Victorinox fruit knife set up for pickle, so with the tip down, the edge in, and with the curve in the handle, so the point is right where you want it. But I have a little piece of Velcro on here, and then a little piece of Velcro on my there's one on the side of my chair, and then one on the inside of the console that's between the front chairs, so I can just take it and mount it if I'm somewhere sketchy, mount it on that thing, and I can just pick it up and grab it. It's right there where my hand is. And I figure if someone reaches in the car, I'm not stabbing them or slashing them. I'm just putting it in their arm and allowing them, giving them the choice to either free themselves and pull their arm out, or stay there until the cops get there. That's my solution. Chances are it doesn't work out like that, but yeah, I think a Carahawk is great in there. I also keep a hammer in the door, a claw hammer. So someone reaches in, you grab that hammer. It's right down here. You just grab the hammer, use the claw, and trap their hand in the door, and then you have your knife in the other hand. I mean, if you had to, or you just start driving and they're attached to it until you can safely let them go and drop them to the street. I haven't thought about this, but I think about it frequently. Craig Vincent says, I was on Midway USA, I love that place, last week, and had the Cold Steel Pro blowgun in my cart. Used to be quite good with one. You could put an eye out with that thing. That's funny that you should say that, because I had a conversation with Matt Chase of Hogtooth Knives about blowguns, and because we mentioned it here briefly, and I mentioned it to him and asked him as a former sniper, what do you think of blowguns? And he sent me a picture back, like immediately, like he was currently hunting flying squirrels with a blowgun, because apparently he's got a flying squirrel infestation in the house or in the attic or whatever, and he takes him out with a blowgun. It's like pinned to the wall, and he's like, oh, I think they're great. They work awesome. So I happen to know from one of our nation's best shooters that blowguns work and are great. So if that's a solution for you, go for it. It might be. I might have to get one of those. It wouldn't be uncool also to get one of those Cold Steel crossbows. Edgy American says, it's all I think about, Bob, but of course in a defensive manner. Of course, it's all I think about. Yeah, in a defensive manner, of course. Okay, let me show you this. Now, I wear this right here on my cross shoulder bag only for the past couple of days, and not in a defensive manner. This is more in a I'm imagining I'm a mountain man manner. So this is a cool little knife sent to me by Holtzman's. You may know them. They reached out to me. I met them at Blade Show last year and just kind of got not left behind, but never followed up with them. They reached out to me and wanted to see if I wanted one of their knives to check out. And they said one of our mini survival knives. And I was like, this is perfect timing, because this is kind of what I'm into right now. Sure, send it. And they did. And I like it. It's a cool little knife. It's got a few little issues, but for an inexpensive survival knife that's small, that can go into a kit and live in a kit, actually, a survival kit, this is a great knife. So what you got here, first of all, it comes with a couple of different clips. This, as you can see, is sort of a tech lock style clip. It's like 2/3 of a tech lock, if you will. And you can mount it a number of different ways. There's a boot clip that comes with this, and a chain and a length of 550 cord, unless you want to, in case you want to wear it around your neck. To me, it's a little bulky and a little heavy for neck carry. But I really like it on the belt, and I like it on my bag right now, my EDC bag. But okay, so as you can see, it's got a ferro rod holder built into it, a Kydex loop here, and it's got a ferro rod that works. I've lit a fire with this knife and this ferro rod. I'll tell you about that in a minute. It's not that exciting, but it was exciting for me. And it's got a portion of diamond sharpener on the side. The sharpener is inconsistent. It's like grittier over here and kind of lost some of its grit there. And it's not perfectly mounted in there. It's a little janky and frankly unnecessary, but I did use it to touch up the tip because I put a little chip in the tip, and I'll tell you how. I came home for lunch. My wife was away, and I was coming home for lunch for doggy duty. And one day, as you can see, this is like a 3-finger knife here. That's why I have that lanyard. I was coming home to let the dog out and hang out, and I decided on this day I'm gonna make a lunch like I've seen some of these survival hack guys make lunch. So I got we have cans of Italian tuna, so it's tuna packed in olive oil, and I use this to make a couple of holes in the can. King, king, king. 4 of those, and that's where I got a little nick in the tip of the blade. But other than that, it worked fine. A little nick right there, just from the horsing it around, and then I put those cotton makeup remover pads that my wife has in there in the hole, and I lit them on fire, and it was like a wick. It was like a burning. I mean, that thing burned for about an hour, and so I put a cup of water over it, and boiled water, boiled an egg, and then ate the tuna, and it was really fun. And I felt like I was on my back patio, but it was a lot of fun to do. And I lit the fire with this. You can see how it kind of ferrocerium leaves stuff on the spine of the blade. I guess the spine of this blade is 90 degrees. I feel like it could be slightly sharper, maybe. It's not work tough gear sharp on the back, but really nice knife. I like their this is called the Baby Silverback, and their logo is a silverback gorilla. A D2 blade steel, very nice looking knife with the blue and the very nicely contoured G10. All in all, a winner. I like this little knife a lot. Thank you to Holtzman's for sending this out to me. I kind of like it more than I expected, honestly. It's not that I was expecting to dislike it, but I do remember being at Blade Show and checking out their knives and thinking, oh, they seem really stout. They're not for me. But from the selection they sent me, I was like, this is way more up my alley. So I dig this knife a lot. Holtzman's mini, what is it? Mini or baby? Baby silverback. Baby silverback. So you guys ever hear of this Holtzman's brand? Anyone hear of Holtzman's? Because I think what they do is design their knives here in Texas, I guess, and then have them made overseas. Isaiah, damn, I missed the knife, they said Friday. How do I deal with this pain? Oh, dude, you missed the knife. That sucks. You could start looking at the secondary, but it'll probably be there for twice the price. And if you missed out, as if I'm reading it correctly, you missed out on getting it. So can you tell us what it was now, since it's not a possibility? Or did I misread your last comment? Craig Vincent says, I used to take out a giant water rats at low tide in New Haven Harbor. I love that. With blowguns, those water rats are just nasty. Ugh. I'm not a big rat fan, I gotta say. I had a girlfriend who had rats, and it was all right. Edgy American says, Bob, I think it comes with having daughters. Yeah, you could be right. Yeah. That Holtzman's the same profile, the Fred Perrin mini street Bowie. Looks great. Well, it's a little, let me show you. It's a little less clip pointy, just so you know. I'll just show it to you. A little less clip pointy, but I am definitely picking nits. And that's just because I think the Fred Perrin street Bowie is one of the coolest things ever created by man. But this one is pretty damn cool too. And you're right. It's got a nice profile and a very stabby blade with that swedge. Definitely a diamond point there. Pete Davidson says, have you ever thought of adding a small pouch to your Kydex sheath for some extra stuff like tinder and small tools? Yes, I have. As a matter of fact, I was just thinking about the Station 9 makes a small knife that has a little pouch on it. And I was just thinking about that today. Funny you should ask, since I'm going down this route a little bit. Craig Vincent says, I have a bunch of neck knives, but my favorite are the Cold Steel Secret Edge and the Ladag. Large enough to be substantial for self-defense, but don't imprint much. The Secret Edge is a cool one, too. I gave that away to someone. I don't know who, but yeah, I remember I used to have that. The less clip, the better, says Edgy American. Yes. Okay. All right. Just for that, I don't have any of my. Oh, here's one. You might find this obnoxiously clipped. What do you think of this? How's that for a clip? I know this is exactly the kind of Bowie blade that Shane, the Edgy American, does not like, because instead of tapering this way and becoming a fast, slender fighting shape, it gets bulbous. And then you've got this crazy clip. I love this knife. This thing is so awesome. David Nephilim Slayer says the Fred Perrin Ladakh is a bargain at what's Knife Works? Something. Oh, Chicago Knife Works. Dude, everything is a bargain at Chicago Knife Works. They're like Midway USA. Like, if you like cold steels, go there first. Go to Chicago Knife Works first. They have great prices on cold steel, and they have stuff that I thought was long out of print, like the Cinque Dia. You couldn't find that anywhere. And then one day I looked there. It was like, there it is. Isaiah says it was a La Bruja by Turner CNC. It was left over from the show, so they were really oh, Isaiah, I feel for you, man. That sucks. I love the gin. I love Turner CNC, but man, you got to be on top of it, obviously, like 100%, or you have to be like that cool sleeve machete, or the, for me, the gin, or that Bowie, that double-edged Bowie. Holy schmackerel, that's so cool. Cody Broadway, that's a cool name. Been waiting all week to ask for suggestions for straight clip point fixed blades. All right, Cody. Well, welcome. Straight clip point fixed blades. Here's one. Now, I'm not trying to be a smartass, but here's one, and it's hard to come by and very expensive. But I think this is what you mean, because this is definitely a clip point blade, but unlike the big Bowie I just had out, it does have a straight clip. Okay, so that said, all right, here are a couple of suggestions, Cody. First of all, you might consider the current modern K-bar utility fighting knife, because it's got a straight clip now. It used to have a curvy, thin, sharp clip for back cutting and fighting and killing, but they don't do so much of that with that knife anymore. So it has a much straighter clip, and it's not sharp. If you like a sharp but straight clip, consider the Cold Steel Trailmaster zero edge clip, straight clip. Its smaller brother, which is called, it's 9-inch, it's an 8-inch. It's called the Trailmaster, and its smaller brother, I can't remember what that's called. But also the Laredo Bowie has a straight clip that is sharp, and that's definitely a fighting Bowie clip point. That's what I'm coming up with right now. Let me know. Anyone else who has an idea for a straight clip point for Cody, drop it in the comments in the next 8 minutes. Edgy American says, allow me to assist you, Cody. Get a Warncliffe. Nice. Allow me to assist you. Get an Edgy American Warncliffe. The Thug. What is it? The Thug? What is it? What is it? You have a really cool Warncliffe. I think it's called the Thug. Something like that. Pete Davidson says, my friend's daughter had a pet rat. It bit her on the face. No more pet rat. Yeah. That pet rat would be no one's pet rat. That pet rat would be, what's for dinner, Dad? We're having a special pasta sauce tonight. Pete Davidson says, Perrin, Bowie. Yes, yes, and 3 times, yes. I would love to get I'd love to get a handmade Fred Perrin. That'd be awesome. The Goon. Yes, the Goon. I said the Thug. The Goon. Yeah, I like that a lot. I like your Goon. And you've been, your output has been impressive, sir. Craig Vincent, Bob, have you ever handled the Cold Steel R1 military? If so, how does it compare to a Laredo or Natchez Bowie? The R1 military. For a second, I was thinking you meant the military classic, their take on this, but they don't make it anymore. The R1 military. Which one is that? Damn it. Nothing compares to a. All right, well, let's talk about the Laredo and the Natchez. The Natchez has a substantially large, they're both large. The Natchez feels larger in every way. Blessed Knives, nice to have you here, Blessed Knives. Perhaps a Ripley. Just trying to look at the knife in your thing. But the Laredo and the Natchez are both big, but definitely the Natchez feels bigger. To me, the Laredo is perfect. It's a perfect Bowie. Yes, it does have a cable tang. And so, but I still kind of believe in its ability to baton. So to me, that's a pretty high impact activity. If it can handle that, I mean, what are you really doing with your Bowie knife that a very strong cable tang from Cold Steel won't do the trick? But I know it's peace of mind. It is nice to know that this is one solid hunk of steel. It is exactly a hunk of steel shaped like the profile you see here. Yeah, that gives peace of mind. Craig Vincent says, I think the R1 is the same as the classic. Okay, I think you're right. The R1 is the classic, but with the plastic handle, with the Grivery handle, like the OSS is the plastic version of the Black Bear Classic. Okay. How would that compare? It would be smaller and feel cheaper because the R1 has that Grivery handle, rubbery, great. It would be great utility. It would be great for all the things you'd need it for, except showing off, because the Laredo and the Natchez have the shiny parts and have the micarta G10 or wood, and sometimes have leather sheaths if you get an older one. So the Natchez and the Laredo, not to belabor it, but definitely have an older classic weapony feel. Pete Davidson, the one thing I was expecting with my military classic was the thin blade. Thought it would be thicker. Oh, wasn't expecting was the thin blade. Let's see. I'd love to get a military classic, I gotta say. Yeah, this does it. The blade on the Randall made is pretty thick. I think it's 3/16 of an inch. Pretty chunky down at the tang. What a great knife this is. I love how Randall sharpens all the swedges. Almost every single knife. Doesn't matter how much of a non-fighting knife it is, they sharpen the swedge. I like that. I like the cut of your jib, Randall. You're going to go places in this knife biz. Cody Broadway says, got it narrowed down to Aaron Bieber 302. Awesome knife. I personally can vouch for that knife. It is so awesome. I carry it frequently. Mine is with the Sukamaki wrap, and a few others have several Wharncliffe knives there. I guess all right, hold on one second. Jim, if you would cut to this, let me get my Aaron Bieber 302 because I want to show Cody something. All right. Oh, look at that. What a view. There you go. You had a beautiful view of my messy tabletop. So check this out, Cody. Here's my 302. It is like a clip point Wharncliffe. Like that looks like a clip point blade, but the way the point is positioned, it's very Wharncliffey too. This thing is great. It's light. It's thin. You can carry this all day, front scout, and forget it's there. And personally, I'm a huge fan of his wrap. He did a beautiful job on this wrap, and that's one of my favorite kind of handle materials. But he also does them in carbon fiber and micarta, and I think I've even seen him do the jigged bone on this. though I'm not sure. I know I've seen him do the jig bone on that recurve Pical Tanto knife. But yeah, Aaron Bieber 302, highly recommend it. I know Dave, who might still be here, has one, and I'm sure he would also highly recommend it. But yes, get that. And Aaron Bieber is a great guy, great dude to support. Craig Vincent says, I've been watching this guy, Rolando Escatado. Yep. He's a huge fan of the Laredo. Yeah, I like he's got a great collection, that guy. He's got he's piped in here a few times. He's got a Hell's Bells Bowie. He's got a Bill Bagwell Bowie. Just makes me jealous. David Nephilim Slayer says, R1 is a premium 239 with a linen micarta handle. Okay. Blessed Knives, I need more large fixed blades. Yes. We all do. Here, before I get out of here, and let me show you another cool large fixed blade. This is, see it. Oh, did I bring this one out tonight? This is what I saluted Will B to with. But man, this thing, talk about a large fixed blade knife. What a great knife this is. This has done a bit of, see, for me, batoning is that's the ultimate like abuse that I put knives through, and this does an awesome job. It's nice and thick, pound right through it. I love big knives. Holy hell, says Blessed Knives. Yes, sir. All right, I think that just about does it for me, guys. Yep, coming up on Sunday, be sure to join us for Carrie of Off Grid Knives. We talk about all the stuff that's happened since, I don't know, the last 3 years since we've spoken, or 2 years. Great dude, and just, man, I'm so thrilled with his new release, the Mamba V3. Very excited to be giving away this 4-inch Magna Cut blade, bellied Warncliffe, a very tactical utility knife, or very utilitarian tactical knife. That's a full titanium, fully textured, golf ball textured titanium frame lock. This thing is, well, I'll say what the kids say, dope. It is dope, people. So be sure to join us and become a gentleman junkie, and that could be yours next week. Bye, all. Thanks, Bob, Jim Junkies. Bye, Byron. Have a great night, Edgy American. Have an awesome night. Bob Blessed Knives is the maker I recommend you to interview. 100% handmade. Yes, I have him over here. Blessed Knives written here, but I didn't write context. All right, I will be in touch with you, sir. Sorry, I know it's totally, it's like when you're watching a movie and you're like, why am I watching this person on the computer? I'm on the computer all freaking day. I'm going to watch this person doing research in a movie. Marco, take care, all. Marco, congratulations on your win. Be sure to send me your address and I will send this out post haste. Autumn Wind, good to have you. Night all, he says. Well, good night to you, Autumn Wind. Have a fine evening, and hope you all have a great weekend. I know I'm looking forward to a nice, cool fall weekend with the smell of leaves and burning yard waste, let's say. All right, everybody, have an awesome night. Steven Johnson, have a fantastic one. Jay Demeter, have a great night, great weekend. Blessed Knives. Sorry for Chai, I'm late. Good night, y'all. Have a great night. Todd Carr, you have an awesome evening. James Hart says, take care, all stay sharp, keep your eyes wide open, and good night, says Mark Stallman. Good night, Mark Stallman. David says, blessed evening, blessed, and I just ran out of steam. A blessed evening to all y'all. And so for Jim, working that magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying, until next week, don't take dull for an answer.